Hi, everybody. This is day 1594. 1594 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered. On Fort Bliss, we're hearing that the crime scene is the arms room. That's really in the picture now, since we have DES Thomas Kane absolutely uh, confirming that Major General Eisenhower um, ordered illegally the full renovation of the arms room. And so why would you want to illegally put your career on the line to illegally order, no hold back with expenses, the full renovation of the arms room? When, and this is what you notice, when, they don't really, you have to put a lot of bids to do the renovation, and a lot has to happen before they even do the renovation. The housing has so many problems. They needed to do the renovation. I've lived in housing before, and it would be years and years and years before they would do a renovation. So to illegally order, uh, you know, don't hold, doesn't matter what the cost is, the illegal renovation, full renovation of the arms room is very, very telling. So, especially when you're familiar with military and how slow they are about any kind of renovation. Um, but it doesn't, it seems like they're involved with trying to line their own pockets at the expense of national security and the American taxpayer. So we have received confirmation, and more information is coming in. And, you know, make sure I say everything properly. We have confirmation that Richard was whistleblowing on, and not limited to, weapons trafficking, ammunition trafficking. Would he know about what was going on in the arms room? Yes. Are there unit members that would be engaged in weapons trafficking? Are they suspects? Yes. Do they have connections to those that have targeted Richard, our family, the investigation? Yes. Are they connected with those that targeted the Walmart case? And, well, let's just say that Walmart case. Yes. Are those in Richard's unit connected to the Walmart case? Yes. Are there guns involved? Yes. What are the guns? We're hearing M4s and green tip bullets. That's what we're hearing. We heard some brown tip bullets too, but green tip bullets. Now, this Walmart case, it's going on, 6 years? Can we have some forensics? Were green tip bullets found? Were M4s used? That would be some questions we would like answered. Also, from the very beginning in Richard's case, and they downplayed Richard's case so much at the beginning that they threw us out. Okay. So they were just saying, oh, he just didn't want to do the whole shutdown or whatever and just walked off, right? He just walked off. That's what he did. And Jay Paulin, which was his former first sergeant, said, oh, just let him go. He'll come back. Soldiers do that. We don't really look for these kind of, AWOL. So we don't do that, this, that, feeding us a lot of BS that we knew was BS because we're a military family. Can you imagine if you're not a military family and your son is missing and you have the former first sergeant saying, oh, don't worry, he'll come back. He's just letting off some steam or whatever. And you might like, oh, okay. Okay, I guess that's what they do. I guess, being in the military is a little tough. And no, the, you know, the military is not like the civilian world. He is absolutely obligated to know exactly where his soldier is or where our soldiers are until they leave the military, until they get discharged from the military. They are absolutely obligated to know where our soldiers are because they're called government issue, right? They don't belong. My husband used to say, "Well, as long as I'm in the military, I don't belong to myself, right? I'm serving the United States of America." And, so they tell me where to go, what I need to do, they so I'm in service to the United States of America. And, so we knew this and they were trying to really downplay um, Richard being murdered. And they were trying to say that he had just walked away when they already had found his remains. They absolutely knew he was murdered. It was a code red murder. They knew it. And they kicked us out so that there would be no jurisdiction at all. Richard's whole case would be in limbo land, no jurisdiction to even investigate it. This why, right? And then when we received the Instagram 50,000 shares or 40,000 shares or whatever it was huge. They saw that people were paying attention. And when the people scrutinized the military, that's when they brought us back on brought Richard back on the rolls, which means that they brought us back into their jurisdiction. And they were obligated then to, and they were imposters. They were absolutely imposters to look for Richard, to investigate. So they went into imposter mode. And imposter and sabotage, I think, is asymmetric warfare. I think are the really great describers of what we've experienced. And so they pretended to do their job, whereas they were leaking, they were sabotaging, they were tampering, they were obstructing, you name it. They were imposters of what their duty called them to be. And, they, um, so I guess you can't really call them imposters. You can just say derelict. But they went into this fake mode. And when they had the task force find Richard Halliday, they still, even though they were in this kind of fake mode and sabotage mode, they still have to abide by the law. And that's why um, one of the lessons we have learned in all of this is that you have to know the law and you have to um, use the law because the law is your best friend. When you're looking for justice, the law is your best friend. Can they weaponize the law? Of course they can, right? But you but it doesn't do you any good not to know the law, not to know how to use the law, not to know where to send all of your complaints and everything like that. And we didn't know. So we've had to learn all of that. And if we could just give the public um one huge tip, and that is to love the law, love the Constitution, and learn the system and use it. Instead, be law abiding and use the system. It's there for you, and you have to be very patient because it's under attack, right? It's being weaponized and everything. So going back to when we had the task force find Richard Halliday, the ATF have been part, and the intelligence community has been part of Richard's case from the beginning. From the beginning, which is very, very odd when they spent so much time downplaying his leaving. Oh, he was such a great soldier. He just got into a little bit of trouble. Lately he didn't. He hadn't gotten any trouble. But they were like, oh, you asked him to do anything and he would do it. And sent me some pictures. Okay, so you're downplaying it all. We know that he didn't get into any trouble. We absolutely have debunked all of the smear campaign narratives that they put forth, the Kavanaugh like smear campaigns and what they're trying to do to Mr. Hegseth right now. They're trying to Kavanaugh Mr. Hegseth. They Kavanaugh'd Richard and he paid the ultimate price, right? They absolutely did that, but it didn't stick. It didn't stick. And so, um, and of course we know our son, but we didn't we wanted to know what happened, right? So we didn't challenge them. We were just trying to absorb what they were doing and their motive, right? And their motive clearly raised a lot of red flags that it was criminal. Um, Absolutely criminal. CID absolutely acted criminal. Marlon Soto acted criminal. I don't think if you were going to grade him, to give him an F would not be low enough because it's so criminal what they did. And so during this task force, the ATF and more than 15 agencies, including an international show of agencies, was there at the task force. Richard's case is bigger than Oliver North, okay? Richard's case, and it includes and is not limited to weapons trafficking across the border. And the ATF works closely with EPIC, the El Paso intelligence community. So EPIC and ATF work very closely together, which of course, and they work together with the FBI. And they have been absolutely with this case from the very beginning. And what do I mean? I mean when Richard was making um his whistleblowing reports. Richard's case came first. Richard in 2019 was making his whistleblower reports, and it caused an investigation. And then came the Walmart case as a diversion, the very bloody Walmart mass shooting as a diversion, and as a diversion of resources, of the law enforcement resources. So it should not be any shock to anybody that weapon smuggling, um, ammunition smuggling, and is part of Richard's case. And to have it to be part of his unit members, that connects it to the military where they can order, right? They can order ammunition and if you have and weapons, and they can overorder it. They can overorder it if they have someone like, we know that they have someone in HRC. If they have their connections, which they do, they can overorder it, and then they could fudge the books. That's old people talking, but they can manipulate um, the computer. They can absolutely manipulate the digits. And that would be, like the serial numbers. Um, but, the problem is some of these serial numbers have that from the United States have been found there in Juarez, in Mexico, across the border. So that is confirmed information. And so Richard's weapons trafficking absolutely includes, the weapons trafficking reports, his whistleblower reports for the weapons trafficking. And he was then turning that in. And of course, ATF were involved. Of course, Epic was involved. They were there at the meeting, at the Task Force Find Richard Halliday meeting. Why is ATF there? Why is DEA there? Of course, the FBI was there. And don't forget, that was when, there was all this closures and all of this stuff and a lot of fear mongering going on. So they were there from the very beginning. So if anybody wonders if there is connections, well, you don't have to wonder. And with this election of President Trump, you really don't have to wonder. Veronica Escobar was so personally disrespectful to the President of the United States, that office, to the seal of the President of the United States. She was so disrespectful. She refused to meet with the President of the United States after a mass shooting. 23 dead, 23 injured. She refused to meet with the President of the United States that wanted to offer condolences. This is, uh, coming from the people's house. And she would have none of it. And now knowing that Fort Bliss is connected to the Walmart mass shooting case, And here the president is the commander in chief. Maybe you'd want to hide too, but really what it does is raise a lot of flags, even more flags. Of course, we have so many red flags around Veronica Escobar that she's almost gelled in with all her red flags surrounding her and all her violations that she has committed. Um, and the weapons trafficking, allowing weapons trafficking to go on is one of those violations. And you have to be not too smart of a cookie to be paying very close attention to Fort Bliss, where there are weapons coming in all the time, all kinds of weapons coming and going from that base. And you have to pay attention to it. And so to have the unit members be involved in weapons trafficking, and we're being told, I was told today that it's bigger than Oliver North. Okay. It's bigger than Oliver North. Um, so I think that that is very important information we wanted to get out to you today. We wanted to talk about um, Judge Roger Rodriguez and new information that's coming out with that he has been proven right. We are getting information that he was absolutely doing the right thing by officially filing a whistleblower's complaint with multiple institutions and agencies that Richard's case was being tampered with. And, that is really uh, important information because that was leaked right away to the very people, Tavita Nusa and Lalani Hart. They were leaking. And who were they? Marlon Soto. Marlon Soto, like I said, the saboteur, the, um, you know, the saboteur, he absolutely violated his oath. And so, the very people that targeted Richard, targeted the Walmart case, targeted um, and leaked the information to those that targeted. So it connects together all the suspects and the cases together. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt at all. There's so much hard evidence, circumstantial evidence, and irregularities. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's a duck. And the Walmart mass shooting and Richard's case is intertwined, and Richard's case is bigger. It is like bigger. It's bigger than the Oliver North case and scandal, the Oliver North scandal. And it absolutely has to do with weapons trafficking and ammunition trafficking, and also hundreds of thousands of children at the border being trafficked into the United States. And now we have to find out where they're at because their lifespan is very short in these circumstances. And so many of them are mostly dead. And so we have a breach of security. We have a breach of border security. We have a breach in our national security. And this needs to be addressed right away, right away. And this is what we're working on in order to get Richard's remains. We have to absolutely ensure the safety of those that are living over the border. I shouldn't say ensure the safety, but at least ensure that we're doing all we can to expose the criminality, the criminal activity that we know about. I think that's really important. Um, we have more information and we'll be sharing that with you tomorrow. But just know that, Judge Roger Rodriguez has been right. Oh, yeah, we are in communication with Austin, who is absolutely, um, yeah, I can't say more. I can't say more because, I just want to say that the people that did this to Richard, that did this in the Walmart mass shooting case, that were involved in the trafficking, that they should absolutely plead for leniency by coming out now and pleading for leniency because, um, we have some that what they're doing could cause their citizenships to be stripped from them. So this is a really big deal, what's happening behind the scenes, and I hope I expressed it well enough for everyone to understand and then to share this video because it's so big when you're um, up to no good at this level. It's, yeah, because it's very, very big money. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing.